Today I want to share with you guys my February TBR, and I figured we could just talk about books. Hello everyone, welcome if you're new here. My name is Sarah Jane and I am someone who films content about life in my 30s in DC, so if that type of content interests you, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because it really helps support my channel. Today I want to share with you guys my February TBR. I have not made a TBR in a while because in the last couple of months I've been in my final semester at Georgetown. I was in their grad program and I just wasn't able to read as much, but January, I finished in December, and then January I've really been able to get back into reading. It's been the nicest feeling in the world. And so I wanted to share with you guys what I plan on reading in the month of February. I have a couple books picked out. I have my coffee here and I figured we could just talk about books. So it is February. It is the last month of winter, and it's the last month of true hibernation before like nature starts to come alive again. So it's a great time to read, or it's a great time to get into reading if that's something that you've been wanting to do. I have a kind of an eclectic group of books that I want to read, but I have a reason. So I have 6 books total, and I'm gonna talk with you guys about why I want to read these 6 books. So first and foremost, I want to read more stories centered around love. Now, I'm not a romance reader. I am not. But it is the month of love, and that doesn't mean just like romantic relationships. That means love that you have towards your friends, your family, like all of that is a thing. So I've kind of picked books that lean into that. First and foremost, and it's a book I've already started, is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This book came out recently, I think it was like October. I ordered it, I just had not gotten around to reading it due to school, but now that I have it, so excited. I've actually already started. I'm about 30 pages in. So this follows the story of Evangeline. So this is the 3rd book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. And this is the UK cover because I think the UK covers are just absolutely gorgeous. So essentially the pamphlet says 2 villains, obviously Apollo and Jax, 1 girl, and a deadly battle for happily ever after. Evangeline Fox ventured to the magnificent north in search of her happy ending, and it seems as if she has it. She's married to a handsome prince and lives in a legendary castle. But Evangeline has no idea the devastating price she paid for this fairy tale. She doesn't know what she has lost, and her husband is determined to make sure she never finds out. But first he must kill Jax, the Prince of Hearts. So one of the reasons why, oh, there's cider. So one of the reasons why I love this trilogy and I love Stephanie Garber's writing style is because she knows how to create another world without it making it feel like too heavy. Like sometimes I feel like when I read fantasy books, there's a lot of world building. It feels really heavy. It's really light. It's a very light fantasy novel, which is why I like it. She creates the world as you're reading it. There's not this whole like long paragraphs about what you're seeing. It's a really great beginner fantasy book if you're like trying to get into fantasy. But yeah, I haven't read The Ballad of Never After, which is book 2. I read that back in like the summer. So for me, kind of like jumping back into this series, it took me a second to like remember what happened, but it's so good so far. And I'm so excited to read this month. Like even the back is pretty. Oh my gosh. So I would classify this as romantasy, like romance and fantasy. This next book is just straight up romance. It's Julia Quinn's When He Was Wicked. So this is book 6 in the Bridgerton series. If you guys have been here for a while, you know that I always buy the UK covers of this series. I was deceived when I ordered this one. It had the UK cover on it, and then obviously this is like the 2010 version of this cover. Anyways, it's fine. Every book is a different sibling, like a Bridgerton sibling, and their romance to their partner. So this one I think is Francesca's, which from what I've seen online, everyone seems to really love Francesca's story. So that's exciting. I will honestly probably re-buy this book. Like I'm gonna read this version, but I'm probably gonna re-buy this book in the UK cover whenever I find it, just so it matches the rest of my series. So the back says, in every life there is a turning point, a moment so tremendous, so sharp and breathtaking that one knows one's life will never be the same. For Michael Sterling, London's most infamous rake, that moment came the first time he laid eyes on Francesca Bridgerton. After a lifetime of chasing women, of smiling slyly as they chased him, of allowing himself to be caught but never permitting his heart to become engaged, he took one look at Francesca Bridgerton and fell so fast and hard into love, it was a wonder he managed to remain standing. Unfortunately for Michael, however, Francesca's surname was to remain Bridgerton for only a mere 36 hours longer. The occasion of their meeting was, lamently, a supper celebrating her imminent wedding to his cousin. But that was then. Now Michael is the Earl and Francesca is free, but still she thinks of him as nothing other than her dear friend and confidant. Michael dares not to speak to her of his love until one dangerous night when she steps innocently into his arms and passion proves stronger than ever, even the most wicked of secrets. So, historical romance. I am interested to read this book because, like I said, everyone seems to really enjoy Francesca's story. And in the other Bridgerton books, Francesca's never really brought up. There's like one or two sentences in some of the books where, you know, the siblings talk about how Francesca went off and got married and then she's now widowed. And that's essentially the end of it. And you don't really see her in the TV series either. So it's kind of interesting to pick this one up. So we have romantasy, we have historical romance. Now, this next book is a traditional romance story, and it's very controversial. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I have not read a single Colleen Hoover book. Honestly, I'm not a big romance person in general, but this book was actually banned by my book club as well, which is kind of funny. This is my friend's copy. However, Blake Lively is in the movie. The movie has wrapped up and I think it's gonna come out in July. I'm not actually sure when it's coming out, but I know they have finished filming and I want to read the book before I see the movie. So if I'm going to focus my TBR on romance, this is the time to read the book. I was hoping to get a copy of the audiobook so I didn't actually have to read this book, but the audiobook is like super backlogged on Libby, so I'm reading this. Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She comes a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryan is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little bit arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily, but Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Alice Corrigan, her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It's an unforgettable tale of love that comes with the ultimate price. Interesting. Once again, not a big romance reader, but we're reading it. We are reading it this month, so hopefully I like it. And I feel like Colleen Hoover is such a controversial author in terms of like people either love her or hate her, so I'm about to find out which one it is for me. The next book I'm planning on reading in terms of love is Love for Oneself and personal love, and that is Britney Spears' The Woman in Me. So obviously I grew up in the Britney Spears era. Like, I loved her growing up. I listened to all of her music. I loved all of her music, and everything that happened with Britney is so disheartening and sad. This is actually the book club pick for my local book club that I go to, so I'm excited to read it. And yeah, I felt like it fit the theme because of love for oneself. So this is The Woman in Me is a brave and astonishing, moving story about freedom, fame, motherhood, survival, faith, and hope. In June 2021, the whole world was listening as Britney Spears spoke in open court. The impact of sharing her voice, her truth, was undeniable, and it changed the course of her life and the lives of countless others. The Woman in Me reveals for the first time her incredible journey and the strength at the core of one of the greatest performers in pop music culture. Written with remarkable candor and humor, Spears' groundbreaking memoir illuminates the enduring power of music and love and the importance of a woman telling her own story on her own terms at last. Very excited to read this. I think it's gonna be great. The next book that I plan on reading this month is an oldie but goodie. I mentioned in a previous video how I found the entire series of Gossip Girl minus like one or two books at the thrift store. I got the whole series for 20 bucks, which was amazing. And so I am now reading the 5th book, I like it like that. In terms of romance, I guess this would fit into like young romance, like young love, because obviously these kids are in high school. I was flying through the first 4 books and the prequel when I first got the book series. But like, I'm not gonna lie, I had to stop reading them because there is just not a lot of depth in these books. It's very like surface level, very superficial, which is fine. And it's a really fun, light read, but I had to take a break so I could read something a little bit more mentally stimulating for myself. But I do want to keep reading the series because obviously I bought the whole series. So it looks like in this book they're on spring break. I doubt the whole book is entirely about spring break, but it looks like they're on spring break and they all leave to go to different places. So anyways, it's just fun, a fun light read. So whenever I'm taking a break from one of these other books, I'll end up picking up this one and giving this one a read. Last but certainly not least, this one is not really a romantic read, but I'm reading it anyways. It is Heir of Fire by Sarah J Maas. So okay, obviously Sarah J Maas is still writing books right now and they're amazing and everyone loves her, including myself. So I read ACOTAR last year. I loved it. I flew through it, the entire series. So I'm trying to take my time reading the Throne of Glass series because I want to enjoy her work for like what it is, which is amazing. So I read Throne of Glass in the summer, and then I read Crown of Midnight in the fall. So this is like my winter read from the series. So this says, the heir of ash and fire bows to no one. Selena Sardothian has survived deadly contests and shattering heartbreak, but now she must travel to a new land to confront her darkest truth. That truth could change her life and her future forever. Meanwhile, monstrous forces are gathering on the horizon, intent on enslaving her world. To defeat them, Selena will need the strength not only to fight the evil that is about to be unleashed, but also to harness her inner demons. If she is to win this battle, she must find the courage to face her destiny and burn brighter than ever before. This thing is thick. It is 560 pages. Oh my god. But I'm really excited to read it. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Sarah J Maas world, and none of her books have ever disappointed me. So excited to read this one next. And it doesn't fit the theme, but it is on my TBR for this month. So those are the 6 books that I want to read in the month of February. All of them touch a little different genre of romance, and I'm really excited to just fill the month with love and yeah, read all the good books. So if you have any books that you're reading this month, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know and be so interested to know what you guys are reading. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe because it really helps support my channel. And I'll talk to you in another one. Bye.